I don't mind. I think an opponent's an opponent. At the end of the day, whether they've got a big following or not, they've got hands and legs like any other female, and they've got a face for me to beat, and they, you know, and that's it. Like, not that aggressive.
Nah, listen.
Keep it going.
No, the truth came out. Listen. You see how the truth came out there, yeah? She was like, listen, they got arms, they got legs, and they got a face that I can beat in and bludgeon. Yeah. This is the infamous podcast. I am Ahmed Tijani, and this is Andrea Jane Bunker. Hello.
Hi. That was sexy.
Do you know what it is? I felt like it was important that, you know, I presented a new voice that I'm trying out.
Entice the viewers at home.
I feel like as time is moving on, you know, the search for my wife is getting more intense. As a Nigerian, when I go on holiday, they pressure me a lot, asking me, when will you marry? So I've worked on my voice to try and entice future Mrs. Tijani into my life.
If that doesn't work, then I don't know what will.
I agree.
I like it.
Okay, now, so just to start things off now, we had this conversation off camera. So I was speaking about the name thing as well. I've introduced you as Andrea Jane Bunker, and people know you as AJ. So how has this development come? Is it an issue for people to call you AJ? If they call you AJ, will you punch them in the mouth? What's the situation?
Not unless it's legal, but
okay.
No, I'm used to AJ now. I don't mind AJ. It's kind of just grown on me.
Okay.
My mum did used to call me Princess AJ when I was younger.
Aha.
But
Okay.
growing up.
So really, your mother is to blame. She started this now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I'm joking. I apologise. I actually want no trouble. I actually don't want any trouble.
You don't want these.
No, I don't want no trouble. Can I ask a question though, please? Yeah. So how does the Love Island, how does that process happen? Like, so you are Janie, living your life. I think, are you originally from like Hertfordshire?
Yeah, Hertfordshire.
Okay, cool.
Born in Watford, raised in Hemel Hempstead. I now live in Dunstable though.
Okay. But what was the reason for the move?
So the move to Dunstable from Hemel Hempstead, house prices were cheaper. So I bought a house at the age of 20. So I moved up quite young.
Okay.
But the house prices are about 50, 60k cheaper in Dunstable than it was in Hemel Hempstead. So I couldn't even drive at that time as well. But I was like, I want a house, and they're cheaper this way. So I need to pass my driving test. Took me 4 years, 6 different locations, a few different instructors, but we got there in the end.
Respectfully, that is wild. 4 years. What was going on?
Do you know what? My first driving test, I actually failed because I couldn't read the registration plate. And then I had my license taken off me for 6 months. And then I don't know what it is. I would actually fall asleep in lessons.
Just listen, there's so much information there to be unpacked. You failed you couldn't read the driver. How bad were your eyes? Why were they so bad that young?
No, they are so bad. Like, they are still bad to the point they're so bad that I went to like have a consultation about laser eye treatment.
Yeah.
And they go, your eyesight is so bad. You've got like the eyesight of basically like people in retirement. The only thing you can have is like a permanent contact lens that's put in behind your eyeballs, which is usually for like people that are like 70 plus.
But do you have that now?
No, they've now made contact lenses that are strong enough for my eyesight. But for 21 years of my life, I wore really thick glasses.
That is wild.
Which, do you know what? My fight in November, my opponent actually knocked out one of my contact lenses.
So this is always what I'm curious about, because I've got a friend of mine that wears contact lenses and he can box. Shouts out to you, O. And I always wonder about this because when you get your contact lens knocked out, you can't necessarily have a bunch of spare contact lenses in the corner. You're not going to spend the 60 seconds you have to get your breath back and get your energy back, putting a contact lens in your eye. So once it's out, it's out.
Yeah, so this is the thing. At that time, my coach didn't even know I wore contact lenses.
Okay.
So I came back and I've got like plus 8.5 in one of my eyes and plus 9 in the other. So, you know, imagine 2020, I'm plus. So I was like, I can see colours in this eye and then I can see vision. He was like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, you won the first round. you want to quit?
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, do you think you can keep going? I was like, but adrenaline just took over. So I was like, I'm going to keep going. And then if it gets to the point where it's like, it's bad, I'll just obviously like, I will stop. But somehow I managed to win that fight. So
Let's go.
maybe that's the secret.
So just boxing advice to anyone that is watching. We advise you to lose a contact mid-fight, and it will inspire you to victory.
Yeah, I think all your other I think all of my other senses must have kicked in. So
No, but
when you don't have one eye, everything else kicks in.
I think it's good though. I think it's good. You know, a lot of people when they get in a confrontational situation, you get to find out what you're kind of made of, what you've got. Because in that situation, when you get given a reason to give up or a reason to quit, a lot of people will take that exit, and the fact that you didn't says a lot about you as a person. So
I think that is my mindset. Like I think I can't quit, even though I probably should sometimes. It's like my mind and my heart is just like keep going until the point of exhaustion or until I actually have to be stopped. So
cool. But let's go back, because I ramble a lot, so we're going to end up getting off topic a lot. So I'm going to try not to do that today. So before Love Island existed, Janie, Hertfordshire, what were you doing with yourself, and then how did the Love Island thing come about?
So when I was actually I worked for ASOS in customer service.
Big shout out to ASOS.
Well, actually no, because they made me redundant just before COVID. So
okay, so F ASOS. Unless you want to sponsor us, I do apologise.
No, that's it. Like, but no, I worked for ASOS for 7 years as a customer service. Like, and then worked my way up, and then COVID hit. I then managed to get a customer manager job for GraftNet, which is like the COVID vaccine. This is crazy, but I was literally part of the COVID vaccination program. So the company that created the systems that provided all of the demographics for COVID vaccinations, the National Immunisation Project. I somehow, I don't know how, but I managed to get a job there. And they were amazing. They were a good company to work for.
That's super random. So you went from ASOS to doing that.
Yeah, but I also had side hustles. So I did hair extensions. Yeah. So I still sort of do that now. It's something I really love doing. So yeah, I did a number of things. And when I was at ASOS, I actually worked nights. So I'd work 4 days on, have 4 nights off. Yeah. So I'd travel a lot in that time. Okay. So yeah, for me, it was really, really good. It was good. It was a good, fun place to work until they made me redundant.
Okay. So we had ASOS, we had working doing the vaccinations, and then we went from there to sunny locations and bikinis and drinking and enjoying life. How did this... on an island, I do apologise, but this not just doing this randomly, but on an island. So how did that come about?
So I actually applied for the season I was on, but about 4 or 5 years before, I was messaged through Facebook. And someone said, oh, we've got Love Island, you've heard of it, we'd like you to come in. So I was scouted, but at that time I was dating someone. I actually would have only gone in there for genuine reasons. I wouldn't just dump. You know how some people would break up their relationship, or
they're like, babes, listen, I've got to lock this off. We got to get the bag right now. I'm not saying I would have done that.
Oh, do you know what? I could never get with another person if I've got feelings for someone. It's just so even if it was just... we had that agreement, I wouldn't be able to do it. And then I was in and out of dating and relationships for about 4 or 5 years. And then when me and my ex broke up, it took about a year to get over that. And then I was like, do you know what? I'm getting a little bit older, so the ship for me to go on Love Island is starting to go. And it was in the back of my head. So I was like, why not just apply? You're either going to get a yes or a no. What's the harm? And then... yeah, I went through... The crazy thing is, I applied when COVID first happened. Yeah. So I got to the final stages, and then they rung up and were like, we got to cancel this year because of COVID. So you go through all of that process.
You're just sitting there thinking, are you not taking a mick?
And I was just like, I've gone through all these
finally decided to do this. And you're not doing it.
Exactly. I was like, oh, right. And they're like, can we call you back next year, see where you're at? And...
say, no, bitch, now.
No, I was like, I want to go now. I don't care about COVID. And then and you think to yourself, are you even going to get that call back? Like, there's so many people that apply, but then I think January, February came round, got a random call, and they were like, yeah, we want to pick up your application, and I had to go through all the Zoom calls again, but I didn't have to do as many.
Okay.
And then the rest is history.
So anytime you have something like that, I'm assuming that they kind of make you agree to some paperwork to say, listen, you're going to be silent, you're not going to tell anyone. In life, everyone has the one person that they tell when they're not allowed to tell anyone. Yeah. So who was the one person you told?
I told my best friend. I told my best friend Chloe, and also told another friend, but she disowned me after Love Island. Oh! You know, when you're like, oh my God, you're one of the only two people I told. And now you're like not even my friend anymore. But
listen. Well, actually, I was about to ask you to say her name again. Yeah, I was gonna give her, a little message, but I don't want any legal action against me. No drama. But we just want to say, hold this L. Just saying. Okay, cool. So obviously, you spoke to them. Obviously, you've got you know that you're on it. So what was kind of your reaction to kind of them telling you that you were going to be on it? Obviously, I'm assuming that because you applied, you got contacted years before, so you had watched it. Is it something that you kept up with regularly, or is it just something you'd seen in passing a little bit?
No, I was especially the earlier seasons, I was a big Love Island fan. You can't help but get addicted to it. So I had watched it, and I know it sounds crazy, but I think a part of me always knew I was gonna go on it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I just had this whole this feeling, and usually when I have those feelings, they usually happen. Apart from my last fight, but I really felt I was going to win that one. But I really had that feeling. So, and I was just like, and I just trusted the process, and it just happened. So it's just sometimes things like manifestation, I really believe in that. And or sometimes if you just, I don't know, if you have a feeling about something, sometimes it usually is right.
Yeah. So when you actually got on there, obviously I know you went on there for a huge period of time, but just what was your first experience first getting on there?
Oh my God. So I think when I first came in, God, it's just a wave of adrenaline, but just nerves, excitement.
So not even just when the cameras see you walking out for the first time, you actually arriving to where you actually need to be. You actually arrive into the set because you can say, you're gonna be on this show, you're gonna be doing this, but actually getting there now it's real. All of it is just it's been agreed, you're gonna be on it, you told your friends, but anything could happen. They can cancel it for anything, it can not happen. But when you actually arrive there, that's it now. There's not going back. So what is that like for you?
Do you know what? It was mad because my day I went in, I didn't have time to think because everything was right, you're going in, you've won, basically the boys won a competition. So they're so I didn't have time. Honestly, I can't tell you, I was more stressed than anything. I didn't have time to take in what was going on because they were you got 20 minutes to get ready. You also they have to check for all your bags to make sure you haven't got any items in there. Okay. And I lost a nail. So I was literally stressed. I'm not going to lie.
You're just having a real bad day.
Yeah, I was just because I think they didn't know if I was going to go in or a guy was going to go in. And then when they announced I was going in, they're like, right, we've got to take all your shots. You've got to take your photos. I was like, you could have done this in the 3 weeks I was in holding.
Yeah. So it's you could have literally done that and then just put this out there for one of us. But
yeah. So because you're in a holding villa beforehand, and because of COVID, we were in there. I was there for 3 weeks, and I was like, you couldn't have taken my pictures beforehand, or done all this stuff beforehand. But no, we're literally doing it an hour before. I've got to walk in, and so I literally was just stressed. I'm not gonna lie, I was stressed. And then it got to the point when they were like, right, you're gonna have to do your walking now. And I think that's when I was like, it's such a surreal feeling. I think it's sort of it feels like you're dreaming. It actually feels like you're dreaming.
Because you recognize everything. You've seen this before.
Yeah.
But you're not watching it, it's you.
And you're seeing what it's like on the outside. You only ever see, and you see what the production is going on the outside. And I think for me, they always said, until you step foot in that villa, it is never 100% confirmed. So even when you're in Mallorca waiting to get in there, people were sent home, so you can still be sent home. So I think for me, it was just, it just felt like a dream. And I was walking up to the villa, I was like, this is just mad. But you don't also have time to think too much, because there's just people talking at you, we need to do this, now walk. And you're like, okay.
So you've had that experience now. You were on the show. the show's ended now. What were things like for you once that was finished? What was like, how were your, because obviously you spoke about one of your closest friends obviously has like abandoned you, now the show's done. What was your relationship like with friends? What was your relationship like with family? How were you with dealing with the increased attention that you now have? So what was that experience like for you?
I'm going to be deadly honest. For me, it was actually very difficult. It's like you're thrown into a job without training when you come out.
Yeah.
I think the main thing for me is I got a lot of trolling about looking old, being too old, looking like, so I got a lot, and I wasn't expecting that. Like, I didn't expect to get trolled for looking old. Like, that's the last thing I thought.
Because it's like in your mind, you're thinking, in life, this never happens. And then you go online and say like, oh, you're thinking, you're like,
also, like,
so confused.
Also, there's so many things I feel like they could have picked on me for, but looking old is like, I was like, okay, but then it don't really help that Love Island put like 21, 22-year-olds. It's like, you could have put some older guys, like, you know, guys in their late 20s in as well, so I didn't look like the granny of the group. But, so it's that, and as I said, you're like, it's basically you're thrown into a job, but without training. Like, you're thrown into like, and you're thrown in the deep end. So, and I think for me, it was like, I was busy all the time because you're invited to events, you're kind of like grasp this new life. I wasn't really big on socials before. I didn't really understand social media. I'm still getting my head around it now. Like, I'm still bad with it. But a few of my friends, like they didn't really understand that, and they thought because I was busy that I didn't want to be around them, but it was more like, I actually need you guys more now than ever, but you guys are coming away from me when I need you. So it was really tough because I think not a lot of people understand what you're going through, and it's actually quite a lonely world when you come out, because it's just crazy, and unless you've done it, you're not used to being thrown into that.
I feel like it's a weird dynamic for your friends, because your friends, they don't want to almost be beggy as if like, oh, they're just trying to be around you because of what's going on.
Kind of wanted that though.
But then you're kind of looking at it like, forget everything that's going on. We are friends. So you can be around me, you can call me, and then afterwards you guys don't really communicate, and then they kind of look at it like, oh, look at her, see, she don't even answer her phone no more. And
that's
it's like,
it.
You rung me once in like 6 months. What do you mean I don't answer my phone? Like,
this is the thing. I think for me, like, I hadn't changed. Like, I've just gone on a show, I've come out, I'm still the same person. I might be a bit busier, but like, I don't love you any less. I don't think, oh, now I'm too good for you guys, because you've been there for the last 28 years, like 15 years of my life. Okay, I didn't know me since birth, but like 15 years or 10 years of my life.
Nah, man, you guys were all in the same hospital, man. Keep with the story. Keep with the story.
But so I think, and that's it. And I think it is quite lonely, and you can't help but like look at sometimes. I've learned now. I've become very hard skinned, but you can't help but notice the bad and the negatives than the goods and the positives. Whereas
but are there any like relationships and stuff with your friends and stuff like that you had before that you still maintain?
Oh yeah,
you're still good friends, because we always hear everyone, you know, like everyone turned their back on me and I don't have any of these. But were there any positives, any good relationships that you maintained that you had before you have, or any good relationships of anyone that you're still in touch with, maybe from that experience?
No, absolutely. Like they're like my best friends, like the ones that the ride or dies are still there. That's it, and they know who they are. And
big shout out to the ride or dies
girls. So they were there, and I think some people would understand and be like, look, you're just busy. We know that you're busy. It's fine. But I just feel like just talk to me. I think a few of the girls talked to me about it, and I was like, that's fine. And then I expressed how I was feeling, and they were like, oh my God, we didn't realise it's
so
like that.
I have a better idea of how to deal with this better.
How do you deal with it?
When you're just antisocial and you're an arsehole in general, like me, then no one expects anything from you because I'm just useless at answering my phone or turning up to places, and then all your issues are solved because they're going to say, damn, this guy never answers his phone, and I never did before anyway, so it's fine.
You know what? I am bad at messages. I've always been bad with messages. Like,
we got her. No, I'm joking.
No, I am. Everyone knows this though. Like, I have literally, I don't know what it is. It's like I get anxiety. Like, even though it's like a really simple message, I could just look at it and be like, I ain't ready to open that right now. It's so bad.
So this is what happens to everyone here. You get the message, and at that second, you don't want to reply. You say, I don't want to open it because I'm not ready to reply. But when I'm ready to reply, I'm going to open it. Then you don't open it, you don't reply, you get a bunch more messages, and then like a week later, you check your phone and you're like, when did they send me this message?
This is weird.
And it was because you didn't answer. Then this was forgotten. So cool. So we've got kind of the Love Island period. We finished the Love Island thing. how on earth have we gone from Love Island to boxing? Like, how has this happened?
I know, it's a bit mad, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, and I'm sure this is not the first time someone will say, oh my God, you're so pretty. You shouldn't be getting punched in the face, blah, blah, blah. Like, so what was the motivation to be like, oh, you know what? I haven't tried. Like, just people punch me in the mouth. Like, I haven't, let's go in this direction. So.
Do you know what it was? Because I was going on a downward spiral when I left Love Island. I was not in a good place. I was a little bit, obviously, I was losing friends. I was not in the best headspace. I was out drinking a lot, and I was feeling like just mentally like not there. I was approached by Boxstar originally to do the fight, and I was like, like you said, like why would I literally sign up to get my face punched up and like put myself through that? But then I thought, mate, I need something to.
And then that price tag came. Then that price tag came. He was like, why would I get punched in the face? They said, AJ, here's the contract. I could consider it.
Do you know what? Boxstar wasn't actually going to pay me. Like, they weren't going to pay. Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, that was the one, like, obviously everyone else had thought, but that was the one that was not, they weren't even going to pay.
Just a message to Boxstar, you have lost your mind.
Well, they didn't even go ahead in the end. So.
You see this one?
Yeah. They did, that fight got cancelled. But, yeah, I think like what happened was like, I was thinking to myself, like, I'm not in a very good headspace. I need something to like sort of get me out and about, give me a goal. Yeah. So I thought I'd try training, see what it's about. And you don't know until you try. And
what was your experience first stepping into a boxing? What boxing gym did you go to?
So I knew a guy called Ben Jardine he did Big Brother, and he boxes as well. So I met him at an event, and we just got really, really well. So he was like, look, come with me. I'll make sure you like give you a good session and see how you feel about it. And I think because I felt comfortable around him and he knows what he's doing, I fell in love with it. I had that first crack on the pads, and I was like, oh, I feel like this is a good feeling. Like, I feel empowered. Like, I feel savage. I feel like this.
Nothing better in life.
So I had that big slap. I was like, oh. I was like, that feels good. And then I think, I just kind of fell in love with it, and I was just like, I didn't know like it felt this like good. Yeah. I was always scared of like the fight side of like, okay, I'm gonna have to actually hit, and I'm a nice person, so I was like, how am I meant to hit someone and bruise someone intentionally, even though they know it's the sport?
No, don't worry about it. After they punch you in the face, you'll have no problem.
Well, that's it. You get hit, and then I'll turn into like an absolute monster. But I think that was it. It was just kind of getting the head around the concept of like, I'm going to get hit and I got to hit people back. But I just love the training so much. I love what it did with my mental health. I love how I saw my body physically change. Like, I hate the gym. I get anxiety going to the gym. And
I just want to say this, that many of us chubsters, we slightly resentful of such a comment like that. You respectfully, you're in great shape. Go, I hate the gym. Like I'm never training. These abs just pop up randomly. Like I don't know.
You have to come from Mama Shirley. It's the Filipino genes. Okay. I think it's the metabolism. It's like I don't even want to tell you what I've been eating since my fight, because I should probably be huge right now, but somehow I'm still maintaining some abs. I'm like, well, actually, I don't know. But
no, you're good.
Yeah.
But I'm curious as well, because I read some things about how I think that you like watched like mixed martial arts and you watched MMA and you're a fan of MMA.
Yeah.
And if I might be wrong about this, but I think your first fight originally was meant to be an MMA fight and not a boxing match.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about kind of how you got involved in MMA, like watching MMA and...
So after Boxstar got cancelled, I was then approached for Celeb MMA.
Yeah.
And again, I think by that point I was like, I love combat sports now. Like, and I was like, I've always been into MMA. I grew up loving like WWE as well, and just like everything a bit. Yeah. It's mad because I liked watching like sort of combat sports, but I never tried it. And I got approached for Celeb MMA, and I was like, well, I like the boxing, so let's give it the MMA side a try. Yeah. And I fell in love with it. I personally actually prefer like grappling. Like I prefer the baby.
We love you. Yeah, that's right.
Like I honestly, and I think if there were another MMA match came about, I would 100% be up for doing it because I enjoyed the BJJ side so much.
Now, do you know what it is? What's interesting is that me, myself, I do a lot of commentating on MMA shows. I've competed in MMA myself. And just, you know, walking around the building, there was like an MMA manager that was around. You know what I mean? Now, what would be amazing is if this MMA manager popped up in this conversation now. It would be great. If this MMA manager just popped up.
I mean, imagine that. If he could just pop up.
It would be...
Like, just imagine that.
Do you know what would be crazy? If he just popped up and he was in a shiny blue blazer. That's crazy.
And what have we here?
That is wild. So, as we're here talking about MMA, we have... Now, people may think that this was done on purpose, but literally... I just took a walk round the block and he just happened to be standing there in the blazer like this. And I was like, listen, Sid, this makes no sense for you to be wearing a blazer that looks as lovely as this and not come and join us for this conversation. And look, he's here.
There you go. You can't let the good blazer go to waste.
It's an honour and a pleasure.
Indeed. So this is Sid. This is MMA fighter, manager extraordinaire, owner of Mogul Management. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
What an intro. What an intro. Eh? What an intro.
Listen, I'm on fire today. I'm going to be honest. I'm on fire today. So obviously, I just wanted to bring him in. Obviously, we're having the conversation about MMA and stuff like that. So was there a particular gym that you trained with? Was there certain coaches that you trained with?
Yeah, so we were training at Create Gym in Hoddesdon. So that's where we were training before because we were doing it as a collective. We had like because it was supposed to be for a show.
Yeah.
And I was training with a guy called Peter Moody. He was really good, and a guy called Evan Peters. He was Muay Thai, and Peter was BJJ, and I loved it. I love training it. I miss it. I miss them coaches. I miss the whole environment. I miss being able to grapple people and actually be able to get just on the daily regs and actually
So this is what someone told me as well when I was competing. They were like, you know, in a fight you can get away with anything once. So you can get away with a takedown once in a fight, you know what I mean? You'll just get a warning. They won't disqualify you, you just get a warning. So if you ever just feel the need that you want to grapple in the fight, you know, just hit a takedown. You know, I'm just putting it out there just as an idea. But Sid, how would you feel about, you know, about Jamie?
What do you do, AJ?
You see what I'm saying? Like we're close now.
We're on the family, so, close, you know, friends.
All you people saying AJ, I'm better than you. I say Janie. So how do you think she would fare in MMA? How would you market her as the manager extraordinaire you are? How would you market her in terms of the MMA world?
Well, you know what I love about MMA is that all shapes, all sizes, it doesn't matter.
Why did you look at me when you said all shapes? Why are you looking at me when you said all shapes?
We have a stark controversy here, you know. We got the small, we got the large.
I just want to be clear. You know what they say? Like the camera adds like 10 kg or something. So there might be 8 cameras on me right now. You know what I mean? Like it adds like 10 kilos. So there's probably about 8 on me right now. So don't, you know. Sorry, please carry on. I apologize.
No, yeah.
Like I was saying, all shapes, all sizes. It's about skill. It's about talent. It's about the techniques that you use. And what I love about, obviously, BJJ, I'm a big fan of BJJ. Been training it for 15 years. The small person can beat the big person.
I love it, yeah.
I love this because that's what happened to me when I first started. When I first started, I was a lot bigger than I was now. I was really like big, but I was working out big. Oh, let me try this. Like, we got these little guys. What are they going to do? They're not going to do nothing. Come on. So I started training. Boom. And I'm talking, these people are 65, 66 kilos. I was like 120 kilos.
Oh, yeah.
They humble
I
you
was double
very
their
quickly.
size.
Very quickly.
That's what happened very quickly. Boom, done, wrapped up.
I think there was actually a situation, where was it? So you know James Locke from Towie, I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
6'4", big guy, obviously probably about 2-3 times my weight.
Yeah.
And we were actually practicing takedowns, and I was partnered up with him, and he was like, well, what you could do to me? Like, he was like, blah, blah, blah. literally took him down, winded him on his back, and he was like, whoa, I didn't expect that. And I was like,
the man didn't know.
That is it, and it is about technique. It is literally like they can have this giant guy, but if they're stiff and they don't know what they're doing, and you know what you're doing, that's it. Do not underestimate us small people.
Was it a little bit easier doing it in that kind of environment? Because maybe if you go into like a random gym or something like that, because you have done things in the past, you do have some notoriety that sometimes it might be uncomfortable to you to kind of be learning and whatnot, etc. But you were in an environment where there's other people with notoriety, there's other people that are quite well known, so you're all kind of in the same position. Did that make it easier?
I think that definitely helped. I think the difference though between like a boxing gym or an MMA gym to an actual gym is you become like family, and once you obviously the initial sort of, you know, like introductions, you always can be nervous. I'm still a nervous person when I meet people because you just never know what they're going to be like. But I think that's the difference between MMA and boxing gyms. And I would always say to anyone who wants to get into fitness, is maybe a bit anxious going to big gyms where all the bodybuilders are, is actually take up a combat sport, because it is actually a more smaller, intimate family kind of setting, and they will look after you and they will teach you, and you will get fit. Trust me, you will get fit. You do not understand how fit you get from doing BJJ or Muay Thai or boxing, because it works every bit of your body, and I feel like you're learning like skills and you're not just running on a treadmill. Obviously that comes with it once you start training for fights, but it is I feel like there's a big difference between a big commercial gym to the boxing and MMA gym. So, but it definitely helped with just kind of getting used to like being in that environment. But now, I would happily just go find a local boxing gym or BJJ gym and sign up, because I just have that love for it, and I just know what that environment's like, and I just know everyone who's there is there to learn, and they have that love for that, you know, that sport as well. And so it's kind of like you have already something in common. So it's kind of nice feeling.
So see for you, what is your contract situation? So obviously we've seen you compete on Misfits. Have you competed on there twice?
So I was meant to compete last year. In October. My opponent pulled out, so I should have competed twice by now, but she pulled out. So I had my debut in a few weeks ago.
That's what I was gonna say. This was recent.
It was really recent. I was like, when was that?
I was watching that, but what was that like experience for you on that platform and stuff like that? Because them partnering with DAZN, it makes it a big platform. KSI being involved also brings a lot of attention to it, and then going there and actually competing at that event. What was that like with you, with the crowd and everyone and the opponent? What was that like?
I think that's it. I think Misfits they're great. I think they're one of, like the best boxing like influencer boxer promote you could be with. So to even be given that opportunity, I'm so grateful, and I appreciate Mam so much, because I know my opponent really didn't want to have that fight. So, and he really pushed for it. So first of all, I'm just very grateful for that opportunity. And as I said, like I have DAZN, I've got the app. I watch boxing matches. I watch it's like, this is mad. I'm going to be on DAZN. And I tried to
Damn right.
Yeah, I tried to forget about it, because I was like, shit, that is big. That is a big platform. There's millions who watch that that you watch on that app, so and on their platform. So I kind of tried to forget about that part, but yeah, it's I think I wasn't. The mad thing is, right, I was just so excited because I've had so many fights cancelled, and again another opponent drop out with my last Misfits match.
You were just happy to actually get in there and compete.
I was like, finally, it's happening. I'm happy to just be here, happy to be involved. I'm happy to have this opportunity and just it happen and go ahead, because I think last year I've had about 4 fights cancelled. You know, and
welcome now.
Yes,
welcome to the fight game. This is something as a manager, I know you understand
very well
this as well.
Very well.
Can you let us know? Just give us an idea. What are some of the excuses you hear for why people can't fight?
Oh, they're wild. Oh, they're just wild. They go from anything like, you know, it's just like the work thing. My dog's died. My granddad's died.
But you know, people saying the dog died is one thing. People will be saying their dog's sick. Saying, it's crazy. You know, my dog looks really upset. I can't fight. I'm like, mate, do you know how much money we put into this event? You're telling me you can't fight. Your dog's looking sad.
It's not even
What's
that.
going on?
Think about your opponent, like all of
Yeah. Oh,
that,
they
that
never do.
hard work. I think not a lot of people who watch combat sports understand the fight camp, that you give up drinking, you give up food. Like for me, I've had to come up in weight, drop weight. And it's like I had to put on 5 kg for my last fight, and then with this fight I had to lose 4 kg. So you're fluctuating in weight. So when people drop out, it's like you're taking the piss. Or when things don't go ahead, it's like, right, well, I've just dedicated my like the last however many weeks to this, and it's not going ahead. So I think for me, it's always, whenever fights happen, the first thing is just, I'm just glad that it's happening.
You do anything to get there.
It's, you know, it's just, I've just had so many bumps in the road on my fight journey. So,
but actually, so what was the experience in there? Because I'm gonna be honest, it looked wild in there. It looked wild. Like I see you guys in there, and I think obviously for me, I'm familiar with you. I'm familiar with her as Astrid.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm bad with names. So like you, Astrid, I'm familiar with both of you two ladies as well. And as respectfully as I can say, you are both very attractive women. So there are many people that will just tune in because there's attractive women that are going in there and are competing. Yeah. But I'm like, when you got in there, you started fighting. I'm like, I don't know if anyone told them that they're both attractive ladies. You know what I mean? Like, you guys went in there to just go to war, and then just started absolutely tearing chunks out of each other's faces. And I was like, ooh, they're not going to look pretty in the morning. I hope they're aware of this. I hope someone's told them this. So, what was it like for you actually being in there and actually just getting after it like that?
Do you know what? I that fight, I'm really disappointed in my performance, actually. Like, it's not how I usually fight. It's not. I don't know if the adrenaline took over and everything. I think as well, my body just didn't feel right. I don't know if it's because I've had the massive weight loss and also I fractured my wrist. It's better now. Well, it's still a bit, but I don't have to wear my splint anymore. But I don't know how early on that happened, but I just know when I went back after the first round, my body I said to my coach, I was like, something does not feel right, and I just don't feel here. But I went in like aggressive, and it was mad. I think it's always, again, it's like the Love Island thing. It's like you're there, but you don't feel like you're there. It's sort of happening in the moment, and everything around you is happening, but you're just, it's like this weird bubble. I can't explain it. I've
competed before, and I've had it, and people are like, man, it must have been so crazy. You must have been in the zone. I'm like, mate, I'm looking at everything outside. Yeah. I'm seeing a guy in the crowd. I'm like, why is he wearing that cream jumper? That's weird. I'm like, oh, my sister's there. I wonder if she's going to be annoyed at my shorts. Like, so you can be zoned in at times, and other times you can just not be there. You're focusing on everything else that's going on.
I think that's the difference. Like, I think with my fight in November, I was really in the zone. Yeah. I think I was just like, because it was a smaller sort of venue. It was... and not a lot of my friends and family came to that one. So it was just like my parents and my 2 best friends. Yeah. And so I think I was just like, really in the zone for that. Whereas this one, I could hear people chanting, AJ, AJ. So it's hard to get in the zone when you're just hearing that. And you're just like, I think you get a little bit wrapped up in there, like, okay, this is happening. But yeah, we did go to war. And to be honest, I just... that I've always done 4 rounds, and that was 3 rounds, but that was like for me like one of the hardest fights, because I feel like my body just was not my body and my mind was a little bit, it's just, I don't know, something just didn't, like, I felt really chilled and really relaxed up until like doing my walkout. And even when I went into the ring, I was like, okay, I feel okay. But then I feel like it just all hit me at once I started fighting.
This is, and I know Sid as well, you can attest to this as well, because you're in the back with a lot of fighters, and you see, like, you can be warming up, you could be like, I feel loose, I feel ready, I feel fine. As soon as they call you and they're like, AJ, you're going next, you're like, whoo.
Yeah.
Ready. I'm ready. Like, of course I'm ready. I'm ready. And then you realise you've forgotten things, and now you need to pee. Wow. Now you need the toilet. Your gloves are on. What do you do?
This is the thing. Yeah. I think as well, the same thing happened again, where like we thought we had all this time. We got early to the venue, and then leading up to actually going in there, I had issues with my breast guard. So it was like they brought me one in. It was too big, so I was like, I can't get it to fit. What are we gonna do? And then my hand wraps on my right hand, something just didn't feel right. So literally, they were like, we've got to put your gloves on. Like, you're going on in you're going out in 3 minutes. So we were like trying to panic, trying to sort out what's like. I had Astrid's coach there, being like, "What do we do?" Waiting for the cutsman to come to like check over it. So I think as well, again, it was like another situation where I don't even have time to take everything in because everything's feeling really rushed and panicky again because there's things going wrong.
But you know what? Listen, it's a learning experience as well.
Oh yeah, as soon as I get to the next venue, I'm gonna be like, I'll get my outfit on now, I'm gonna get my breast guard on now. These raps best be feeling good before like.
But the thing is, like, I've got like a friend of mine that competes in like MMA and competing in kickboxing and all these things. Shouts to Ollie Thompson, and and I got to be with him when he went to certain big shows, and I got to see how he deals with a lot of things. And he will be like, okay, no, the gloves are incorrect, and it was like, yeah, no, but you need to go on in 5 minutes, and he was like, yeah, that's great, I'm not going anywhere though, until these gloves are sorted. And he's like so confident in it. I
think I just do that.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
if the hand wraps don't feel right, because obviously my hand did get, I got like, obviously I came out fractured wrist. So I don't know if there's I think that might be wrong because I feel moving now. I don't know if I should be not have the splint on, but I was like, I ain't coming here with my splint on. Feels like
no, look, I think the doctor's got it. No, I reckon the doctor's got it right. I think you've just ignored their advice.
Do you know what? I think it was a sprain. It does feel, it hurts here. My thumb hurts the most. I feel like I struggle to bend my thumb at the moment, but yeah.
You're going to come back. You've done like 3 months of extra damage because you took the splint off. Terrible.
Probably setting myself back there, but I think that's the thing. I think next time, if my wraps don't feel right, I'm gonna say I don't give. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going out until it's done right. I don't care if we have to rewrap it because obviously look at the state of my hand afterwards as well.
It's like they can say I get it. You've got a show. You've got everything. I've trained for this many weeks. I'm ready to go. You're telling me that because this needs to be sorted, the whole event is going to end because, you can give me those 5 minutes.
Exactly.
You can give me those 5 minutes.
But it comes with experience, doesn't it? That's part of it. And every time you learn a little bit more, your team, they will, grow and stuff with you.
Definitely.
It's just a learning curve.
A better idea. This is a genius thought I just had. You hire a great manager that does the talking for you. He definitely he loved to talk for his fighters. He loved to do that as well. He'd be negotiating bare fees.
Damn right. Damn right.
Sticking it on people for a lot. I'll be like, what's going on with this? He's like, I don't know. Like Sid's dealing with it. And I'm like, what's going on?
Sid would be
I told him he's not doing it. I told him.
That's it. That's what I think I need. I needed Sid there to be like, you just need someone to be like, no, if it's not right, we are doing it. We're not going to rush it on because.
But now you know moving forward. So you've done that now. What is the contract situation? Are you tied to Misfits? Do you have a certain amount of fights that you still have to do with them? Or are you a free agent that is in a position to communicate with any other organisations and stuff like that?
So I've got a multi-fight deal with Misfits. So I've got 2 more fights after this one, I believe. So it's a 3-fight deal this year. So I think should be fine again, either August or September, hopefully.
Now, cool. Have they given you an opponent already?
Not yet. And I think this is the thing, because I think the issue with in the crossovers team.
Contractually though, I'm just saying. Even though if they've told you, you can't say. No one's watching. You know what I mean? You can tell us. You can tell. Look, Sid's not going to tell anyone. It's cool. Don't even worry about these things over here. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can tell us the name of the opponent. You can tell us your contract. No one will know.
At the moment, I know they want me to rematch Astrid at some point because that was a very close fight, and I think I don't know what point I fractured or sprained my wrist, but if and also it was my first massive fight, so obviously my nerves and adrenaline is going to be all over the place for that fight, but that's not going to happen straight away because she's you can't do a rematch straight away. But I think the thing is with me, in my weight class, is there's not a lot of petite girls that want to get into boxing, whereas obviously with Kingpin. They reached out to me, but I was like, those girls are like 60, 63 kg. I'm like 52 kg, 52, 54 kg, and you want me to, I can't put, I can't put on 10 kg and like.
Yeah, no, just get a jacket on, you know what I mean? Just weigh in a tracksuit, fill your pockets, it'll be sweet, like no problem.
I think so. I don't know who my next opponent will be at the moment, but I trust that they'll try to find me a good one.
But in terms of for your next fight, do you want it to be a more high profile fight like your last one was, or would you rather kind of take a step back and have something a bit more low key, just so you can kind of focus on training and experience of being in it?
Do you know what? I don't mind. I think an opponent's an opponent. At the end of the day, whether they've got a big following or not, they've got hands and legs like any other female, and they've got a face for me to beat, and they, you know, and that's it. Like, I'm joking. I'm not that aggressive.
Nah, listen.
Keep it going.
No, the truth came out. Listen. You see how the truth came out there, yeah? She was like, listen, they got arms, they got legs, and they got a face that I can beat in and bludgeon. Yeah. Listen, we're gonna clip that bit as well, and we're gonna tighten it and be like, the real AJ Bunker reveal.
You know what? I have to, but I definitely feel like I've got like an inner. I'm a sweet and nice person, but I definitely feel like you're either going to have that or not, because to be in this sort of sport. And I feel it sometimes, like there's this inner like fire or inner beast like that comes out. So
well, I think as well, like you look at the last fight you had, and I know you kind of gave your assessment. You didn't like your performance and stuff like that.
Oh my
and
God, I hated that performance.
I think winning and losing is overrated. I think when you get an opportunity to get in there and compete, I think when you can go there and you can say like, I laid it all on the line. I had multiple opportunities. When you hurt your hand, you could have said, cool, I'm not going out again. When you lost your contact, you can say, listen, I'm not going out there again. When your body's not feeling good, you could be like, do you know what? I'm not fighting. I'm not feeling all right.
Yeah.
But you had all of those things go there, and you still were able to step out there. And I think when it comes down to it, that's really what matters, because there's no coach that can teach you that. No. There's no coach that can say, oh, cool, we're going to do this exercise. It's going to show you not to be a punk. No, like you're either a punk or you're not a punk. So that's what it is. So I feel like it was a good thing for you to find out and prove to yourself. Maybe you already knew that, that you've got that dog inside of you, that you've got that heart, you can actually put that in and whatnot, etc.
And that's the thing, I feel like that fight, even though it was less rounds than what I've done before, and I was fit enough, my adrenaline, I think I honestly feel like I must have like busted my wrist in like the first round, because I just knew my body was just not feeling right. And I think it's like the adrenaline was like trying to mask the pain of the hand, but my body was like really ready to like, after that first round, it was like my body was like, no, like I can't go on anymore, but my mindset was like, I've just got to go back in. So for me, even though it wasn't the performance that I wanted, just to make it through those rounds, because I just knew that like I just knew that I wasn't, my body and my mind was just not, my mind was like keep going, but my body was literally so ready to give up, just because it was feeling just not good at all. I think it just must have had that shock, and then everything else just like went through.
So see now, obviously you're doing a lot of the training with the boxing and stuff like that. Are you still able to keep up with a little bit of the grappling, or has it just been 100% boxing focus?
So I have just been boxing focused, because I've had fights. I had one in November, then I had this fight obviously come up, and so it has been like fight camp's been very boxing orientated. But before these fights came about, I was actually looking at more to go back into the BJJ side of things and get into. I just missed BJJ. I feel like I'm just a natural born grappler.
So this is the thing. Like when that finishes, are you looking to go into MMA, or are you looking to maybe look at exploring maybe some jiu-jitsu competitions and things like that, because that might be an avenue to go down, because I feel like jiu-jitsu is getting a lot bigger now. It's more prevalent, like not so much in the UK, but in America and stuff like that. And I feel like that might be a good little avenue to listen up. I've just presented this right now. Celebrity BJJ. Hey, remember, you heard it here on the infamous podcast. Listen, I want my 10%. I'm just saying. So. But I feel like that's a good shout, because
definitely. I think there's not a market for it at the moment. Like, I haven't seen, obviously the celeb MMA was coming about, didn't happen. That's it. So I feel like, there's definitely a gap in the market. The crossover boxing scene's so big. There's definitely gaps in the market for more combat sports in the crossover scene. And I've fallen in love with like boxing and with the like MMA side as well. So I definitely would be up for doing, you know, an MMA fight or just a jiu-jitsu on its own. I wouldn't even mind trying to learn how to do some professional like wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Like you know, like
Listen,
WWE hit me up. That stuff is
Listen,
wild.
we've put it out there right now. You see what I'm
love
saying?
to learn how to do those flips. Hit
Listen.
someone with a chair and a ladder.
Listen, so basically, if we can clip this, yeah, and just title this, AJ says she's going to the WWE.
Yeah.
She's gonna watch it and be like, "What? That's not what I said." No, it's too late. It's too late. It's out there.
Hey,
We said it now. She said she's going to the WWE. Vince McMahon hit me up.
That would be the ultimate dream. I grew up watching that. Like literally, me and my brothers, yeah, we used to get the mattress off the beds, right, put on the floor. I used to love Lita. My brothers used to be like the Hardy brothers, and we used to like throw each other off. We used to take turns being different opponents and fighters.
Who's older? Who's younger?
I'm the eldest, and
You're
I'm the only female.
eldest.
Yeah.
Okay, so your younger brothers got beat up 100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
100%.
And I think that's it. Like growing up, I never had fights with like on the streets or girls, but me and my brothers used to play fight like mad, and I would win. Like they were 20. They're like one's 2 years younger, one's 3 years younger, but we were highly competitive growing up, and we would fight, we would wrestle, would feet wrestle, would beat the crap out of each other. So
but do you know what I found interesting about what she said? She was like, we used to play fight. To my dear sister, both of them out there, you hear that? Play fight, yeah, play. The beatings you gave me were unnecessary.
Well,
okay.
This is the thing. I think it starts off play fighting, but then it would end up being proper beatings. Like I'd try to barricade myself in the bathroom.
You can tell I'm a proper younger sibling. You can hear the trauma coming round me. They beat me.
The big sister thing. It's like we just let you know who's boss.
Listen, I'm not a small guy. Like you know what I mean? I'm not a little guy. My sister's your side as well.
Yeah.
Listen, she beat me. You know what I mean?
Away, that's it.
Okay, cool. So look, in terms of outside of the competing, outside of the boxing, outside of the MMA, those kind of things, are there any kind of plans and ideas and stuff that you've got that you're kind of looking to get into that we should keep our eyes peeled for to watch and support?
At the moment, I'm just riding the fighting wave. Eventually, in the future, I would like to set up like an academy, like or like a boxing gym or like a combat sports gym that you know is all inclusive for females, LGBT community, because I think that's one thing. I think going into the boxing gym, it's very male dominant, and luckily I can hold myself out.
Really? I don't know where you'd get such an idea from.
Just a little bit. So, you know, and I think that's it. I think maybe if there was a space that, you know, and men would still be welcome, like this is it, like maybe men that maybe feel don't have that alpha man energy, but want to get into boxing, like a safer environment that where people can get into it, not necessarily have to fight, but like, you know, get into the training because it's so good for you. And I always say that, like, I feel like finding combat sports has definitely helped with my physical and mental health massively. And as I said, I used to get anxiety going to a normal gym. Like if it weren't for like boxing or MMA, BJJ, it's like I'd be so lazy.
But has that changed how like you carry yourself in your day-to-day life? Because it's not to say that you're going to walk up to people and punch people in the face, but once you know that you can handle yourself to a certain extent, it must give a different kind of confidence.
It just, for me, it just not necessarily feel like, oh, I could beat you up or anything like that, but it definitely gives you an empowerment feeling in terms of I've got this side to me that I never knew I had. Like I have got a little inner warrior that, you know, it's like actually I can handle myself. You know, win or lose, like it's you know, it's how you come back stronger. So yeah, and I think that's it. It's knowing you put yourself in situations and knowing that you can get yourself through it and you've got the mindset to carry on. So it definitely teaches you about yourself and your inner fire, your inner beast. And
I feel like martial arts is so important. Like me, myself, it gave me the confidence. So like now when my mum says, you know, go and get like a credit from the shop, I'm like, no. You see what I'm saying? Talk with confidence. Do you see what I'm saying? When she tells me to go and get, you know, she goes, go get pounded jam from the shop.
Yeah.
No.
See, I'm still too scared to say to my Filipino mother no, because bamboo stick, slipper, which one do you want?
Listen, I tell her, do you know what I mean? 100%. And then, you know, Then I check whether she can hear me on the phone, and then when she says no, she couldn't. I'm like, yeah, good. You know what I mean? Right, now I'm not. Now listen, I'm not lying. I never said she could hear me when I said it. I just said that I said it. I didn't say she heard me.
So we can put it on mute as well.
Two very different.
Speaking to the phone, not
you see
through
what
the
I'm saying?
phone.
Listen, we didn't specify whether the phone was on mute or not. We didn't specify. You see what I'm saying? So but it's good. Man. But yeah, man. Listen, I think this was great. I feel like we learned a lot about you. We learned the ins and outs of a lot of the things you go and finding into your mind and everything. And I appreciate you for joining us for this chat.
Appreciate you
So
guys.
AJ,
Both me.
it's a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
And you, Oga.
My man.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Guys.
Never a chore.
Guys, listen, honestly, thank you for joining us. Listen, the Infamous Podcast. I'm going to plug my own socials. 6 words at Instagram. AJ, what's your Insta?
Oh, Andrea Jane Bunker or AJ Bunker.
Let's go! And what is the Sid Mogul Management?
There you go,
Insta?
Sid Mogul Management. That's easy, isn't it?
Let's go. Listen, don't worry about their socials. Come holler at your boy.
Look, he's looking for a wife. Wife him up. Come on, here he
Oh,
is.
listen. Do you know what? That is a very, very important thing. Please clip that, yeah, and let them know, yeah. I'm getting love out here in these streets. Listen to what she said. Wife to be. Come holler at your boy. Thank you. And yeah, I think that's it. All good.
Love